Hey, this is Scott Smith from COBRA Firing Systems.
Hi, and I'm Will Harvey from Finale Fireworks.
Great, and thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Today we're going to be covering the concept of what we call step scripts. Okay, so what is a step script? Well, normally when you're scripting, you're used to really more of timed event scripts, right? Where essentially you have a stopwatch going and all your events are scheduled to fire at a defined time. Well, step scripting is really more of a manual show. So you're actually still pre-designing your show within Finale. However, instead of it firing automatically based on the time, what you're doing is you're pressing the step button on the COBRA remote. So when you start the show, you press the step button, fires the first event. You can watch that event. Once it completes, you press the step button again, and it's going to go within the sequence of how you design it within Finale. So Will, why don't you go ahead and let's show us how we create a step script within Finale.
Sure, given that, we'll create a script which is just a sequence from left to right. I'll select the positions here. And then insert one effect on each position and put them into a sequence. Just to separate them out on the timeline to make it obvious, I'm separating them out by a second. So you can see they're 1 second apart here on the timeline as I'm scrolling through it. But it actually doesn't matter how much time I put in between them because you're going to be advancing it by pressing the button on the COBRA controller, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that's our script. It's pretty simple. The next thing that we need to do is address the show to fill in the rail and pin columns, which correspond to the channel and queue on COBRA. We go to address show, select COBRA here, and then we select the module or slat type, which gives us some different options on COBRA, and we want to pick the right option. And maybe you can tell them what to pick here, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first most important thing is that you're choosing the correct firmware. So you'll see in here we have a variety of different firmware choices, 5.0, 4.0, etc. So in this case, we're actually going to choose 5.0. And the option you're going to want to choose in this case is the second option, which is step script by events. So you'll notice the first option is more of our traditional timed event script, but the second option is going to convert that timed event, the event into step.
Okay, so we'll pick that one, address the show. That fills in the rail and pin column with the channel and queue number for COBRA. And then we can export the show from the file menu, export firing system script, continue. Now here's where I think we pick the USB drive in order to transfer it to the COBRA. Maybe you can pick us up from here, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to want to save this onto a thumb drive, which we're ultimately going to place into the controller to load the script. But you'll notice where we have the file name in the lower left, why don't you go ahead and just type the word COBRA, Will. So we always want to make sure this is named COBRA. It is case insensitive. And go ahead and click Save. Perfect. So now at this point, we have the file saved on the thumb drive. As we showed within an earlier video, we'll show how you can load that into the controller. But let's go ahead and just open this file. Let's take a look at the contents so we can see what it's done. Perfect. So you'll notice here that in row 2, this has our default trigger channel and trigger button, which is trigger channel 0, queue number 1 within Finale, so it always defaults to that. And then what you'll notice is interesting about the script is there are no event times that you would expect within column A. Instead, all of those have been replaced by the word step. So once we're executing this script, we're simply going to press that step button, and each time we press that, it's going to fire the next event as we design this within Finale.
Okay.
Great. So anything else to add to that, Will?
I think they can just export this script, copy it to the COBRA, shoot the show. We're done.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. Hope you enjoyed the video.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Here.